4 high schools, 7 middle schools, 1 college, and a university, and much more. Now introducing your most comprehensive weekly local sports show in Madison County, the Richmond Register Sports Show. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Here's your host for all things local sports, the Richmond Register Sports Editor, Nathan Hutchinson.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. My name is Nathan Hutchinson. I am the sports editor of the Richmond Register, and we very much appreciate you tuning in this week. Here in just a minute, we will have Kevin Kim from Berea College on with us. He's here to talk all about what's going on with the Berea College athletic programs. They are back to pretty much somewhat normal this year after obviously some COVID issues last year with everybody, not just with Berea College, but all their fall sports are up and running. And he'll be here to talk about all of that and also a lot of the local athletes who play at Berea College. But as we always do, we want to start off the show by recapping last week in Madison County sports. And man, there's a ton of stuff. I've got like 6 pages of stuff to read to you here. Lots of good stuff though, so that's the great thing. We'll start off with high school football. And Madison Southern had not played a football game in 2 weeks because of some really bad health and safety protocol issues within their program. They were able to scrape together only 23 players to put on the field Friday night, but those young men scrapped and scraped and picked up a 23-19 win over Lafayette. They were down 19-10 at the half. Stephen Whitehead had a touchdown, and then there was a 50-yard touchdown pass from Cole Carpenter to Walt Smith with 1:28 left that put them back in front. And they had to make one last defensive stand there at the end with Lafayette driving, but they come up with the win. And our friend Zach Cumbus covered the game for us, and he had a chance to talk to Madison Southern coach John Clark after the big win.
All right, Coach. So talk about that final play there, to stop them from getting a touchdown.
It's wild, we hadn't had a lot of stops all night on defense, but I'm proud of our kids. We buckled down. Man, I'm really proud of our kids. We got a lot of adversity these last couple of weeks. We had a lot tonight, and they didn't quit. I mean, they should feel really good about this win.
Yeah, especially coming off of 2 weeks and having to cancel games. It's a huge time to get a win, isn't it?
It has, and we haven't had much practice up to this point. We there was a whole week and like 3 days off completely, so I'm proud of them. We've got to get healthy. We got to get back to full strength as a team, but a lot of young guys played tonight that typically wouldn't have played, and we took some lumps because of that, but it was a good experience for those kids too. Yeah,
and talk about that too. So, you had a lot of players out. You're kind of limited on who you could play. So
we are, and we've got guys that don't leave the field right now, and it's hard to play a full game and not leave the field in 5A, 6A football, and they're doing it, and I'm proud of them. Like Walter Smith, Jay Sean Effort, Stephen Whitehead, they don't leave the field. Caleb Johnson, these are kids that aren't coming out the whole game, and that's rare, and it's gritty, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, talk about too getting the first win of the season in front of the home crowd. How good is that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we're 1-1 now, but we're 1-0 this week. I mean, the COVID cancellations, we're not. I mean, that's BS. So I like where we're at. We're getting better. We've got to get fully healthy.
Yeah, and talk about Cole's play there. He hurdled over that defender and got a touchdown there. It's pretty athletic play.
It's probably a big joke in our football program is Cole was never a runner. Proud of him. He spent his entire offseason working speed training, and his mobility is different this year, and it shows. He's really progressed to be more mobile, which has added another wrinkle in his game that he didn't have before.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, congrats, Coach.
Thanks, Coach, and thanks, Zach, for getting that video for us. But, man, what a tremendous effort from those young men to only have 23 kids on the roster and to pull off a big win. This first win of the season, they're 1-3. They'll be back in action next week down at Pulaski County. The Madison Central Indians also did not play last week, but they returned to the field on Friday night with a vengeance, rolling to a 69-6 win at home over South Laurel. It was the most points they had scored in a game since 2006 when they put up 70 on West Jessamine. They scored touchdowns on their first 9 possessions. It was Kenyatta Harge with 3 rushing touchdowns, Brady Hensley with 2 rushing touchdowns. And after the game, we got a chance to talk to Coach Mike Holcomb as the Indians moved to 3-1 on the season.
Well, you talked after the first game about offensively, you guys only scored the 12 points against LCA, and it was obviously the last 2 games, 34 and now 69. So you guys have figured out some things offensively.
Yeah, we've got some people doing some things, and we're getting better. I think our offensive line's getting better and better and better, and just really understanding what we're trying to do better. Of course, our defense puts us in such a great shape. Coach Blair and our defensive staff just gives us the ball, and they got a pick right off the bat early down here and put the ball short. So we've been playing on a short field the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that really makes a difference for us. And we're learning to do some things and making some plays and finding out playmakers we do have.
Yeah, I know lots of smiles out here, but I'm sure you're going to give them a little earful about the penalties. I think it was almost over 200 yards of penalties.
Yeah, I don't know about some. We've been through the first couple of games and we ain't had no penalties, so I'm going to have to look at the film, and I don't know. I probably better not comment in the paper, but there's some. I don't know where all that was coming from.
Yeah, 3-1 if you count the forfeit loss. So you guys have to feel pretty good about where you're at, considering all you've been through with COVID and cancellations and everything else.
Yeah, we just want to stay healthy so we can keep playing. And the main thing, so we keep working and practice every day and getting better. But I'd say we're 2-1. We're going to try to reschedule that game, hopefully. So we'll just have to, keep working. And so proud of our kids and our coaching staff. They're doing a great job, especially defensively and doing things. And our offensive line coach Johnny Pointer, and running back coach Dave Hensley, and the wide receivers Alan Hensley. Those guys are working, doing a real good job besides their defensive staff.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. And it was the third straight win for the Indians, 18th straight loss for South Laurel. One of the funny things I thought about this game is Jeffrey Kinley has been a really defensive standout for the Indians for a couple of years now, and also a great wrestler. But they put him in on offense in the first half, and he took a little sweep to the left and scored a touchdown, which would have been his first varsity touchdown. But look back, and there's that dang yellow flag laying on the field. So the penalty called that back. So he was denied his first varsity touchdown for about 10 minutes, because a few minutes later he caused a fumble, picked it up, and returned it on defense for a touchdown. So here's Jeffrey Kinley and Kenyatta Harge talking about the big win over South Laurel.
We are here at Madison Central High School, where the Indians have picked up a 69-6 win over South Laurel. That's Jeffrey Kinley. That's Kenyatta Harge. Jeffrey, you thought you had your first ever touchdown in the first half on an offensive sweep play there. It got called back on a penalty. You ended up getting it later on defense. So kind of talk about your first ever varsity touchdown.
I knew it had to come, and I was ready to get it. Couldn't get it on O, so I said to myself, I gotta get it on D, and I did. So that's kind of what happened.
When you scoop that thing, you see the corner of the end zone. Kind of what's going through your mind?
I was just excited and ready to get back with my team after I scored it.
Yeah.
Celebrate with him.
Kenyatta, you guys came out and just really got the defense gave you great field position. You punched him in the mouth real quick and kind of took control. What was the offensive game plan?
The offensive game plan was just everyone's good, everyone's go. We have a jump ball threat with Jaden. We have a good QB. We have good QBs, good line. We're good. We got good receiver core and backs, and our line stepped up today. They did a really good job.
Yeah, and obviously you guys still have some people out. South Laurel had some people out too. So what's it been like the last couple of weeks here? Kind of all the uncertainty, not even knowing whether you're going to play or who you're going to play, or kind of what's it all been like?
It's been hard to prepare for. Last week we didn't know if we're going to have a game or not, so it was kind of hard. We're off and on preparing for both teams, so it was kind of hard having one scout team and having to do the next. But that's all right, because the scout team kids stepped up real good and helped us out.
Yeah, I mean, what's it feel like when you watch some of the younger guys get out there and get a chance to score?
It's great because those guys work hard, helping us get better and them getting better at the same time. So it's just great to see them finally getting to show it to everybody.
And you get your first touchdown on senior night, guys. That's got to be pretty cool. All right, congratulations, you guys. Next week at Lafayette.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll see you then. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, guys, and congratulations on the big win. Also, Jaden West had a touchdown catch, and Blake Snyder had a TD run as the Indians picked up their third straight win and moved to 3-1 on the season. They'll be back in action this Friday coming up at Lafayette. And on Saturday, our friends from Berea Community took the long trip over to Horse Cave, Kentucky to take on Caverna, and they picked up a 25-6 win. It was the Pirates. They snapped a 7-game road losing streak. The last road win they had was on October 14th, 2009 at Dayton. They had Yamil Cruz and Connor Gilbert back after some injury issues. And it was Clayton Martinez with a 60-yard touchdown catch. It was Logan Abney with a 45-yard touchdown catch. And Cody Roberts and Jaden Cunningham both had touchdown runs. The Pirates are 2-2 on the season. They'll be back in action this week at Pineville. EKU football team traveled up I-64 for the second time in 3 years to take on Louisville. Obviously, tough matchup when you go up. FCS team goes up against an FBS team. Louisville was a 30-point favorite, but the Colonels were handed a 30-3 loss by the Cardinals on Saturday at Cardinal Stadium, and it was this was a 0-0 game actually near the end of the first quarter, but two big, huge mistakes on special teams really kind of allowed Louisville to take control. EKU dropped a punt, muffed a punt, and Louisville scored 3 plays later. And then in the second quarter, Louisville returned a punt for a touchdown, and 0-0 game turned into a 20-3 game at the half, and it kind of went on from there. So I had a chance to talk to EKU coach Walt Wells afterwards, and here were some of his thoughts on his team's efforts.
Really pleased with the effort and the attitude that we played with. I'm not happy with the mistakes that we made, especially offensively, in our perimeter blocking and in our overall run blocking, and then in our special teams with the muff punt and then the punt return for a touchdown. So we've got to clean those things up if we want to be a good football team. Really pleased with, like I said, our effort. Our defense played hard for 60 minutes, and I think they did some really good things. Scott's got a really good football team, and I think you'll see that as the year goes on. I'll open it up.
How difficult was the turnovers for you to make it?
The muff pump really started it off, and questionable call. They didn't say it was confirmed. They said it stood, or whatever the terminology is. So, that one starts it off, and you give them field position right there to score, and that's tough. So you go down 7-0, and then the rest of the turnovers that came, it is what it is. You can't turn the football over against a good team, and then a team that's, when you're playing up like that, you can't make the mistakes we made. So, but the muff punt was really something that was really hard to handle, and then the kickoff or the punt return for a touchdown.
Coach, you guys still.
All right, thanks, Coach. And in addition to the coming up with a lopsided loss, we did have some injury issues. Deshaun Hewitt, who had the 3 touchdowns in the season opener, he was injured, only had 3 carries and 1 catch. We did not see him in the second half. Matt Jackson, the All-American linebacker, was also helped off the field, and Tucker Schroeder, a really good offensive lineman, was also injured as well. So we'll have to talk to Coach Wells on Tuesday during his press availability to see how those young men are doing as they prepare for Indiana State Saturday at home. It was Patrick Nations with the only points for the Colonels, a field goal in the first half. So here's some more thoughts from Coach Wells on the loss to Louisville.
Yes, we did. Our focus was Malik. We didn't want his legs to beat us, and so we were playing a little more read defense, in our 3 down. And so we, probably wasn't penetrating as much. Now, we got back to Malik in the first half, I think, and did some good things. And we knocked him around a couple times. So, he's a hard guy to get a hold of, too. And so with the run game, with their wide zone play, it's hard to penetrate it. He's jump cutting and coming back. And our backside pursuit didn't do a great job.
Yes, obviously, the goal is to win the game. You guys didn't come here to lose. But how did you evaluate the things that you wanted to work on this week against FBS competition?
Well, I think whenever you're playing an FBS opponent, you've got to approach it just like you're playing an FCS opponent. It's not like you're all of a sudden going to be that big of a different player. And that's what I told our kids. I said, you're good enough. You got to come in here, but you got to come in here and play error-free football. You can't come in here and turn the ball over. You can't come over here and lose the negative play battle. And you got to win the explosive play battle, which I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm going to assume we probably lost all 3 of them. I know we did the turnover battle. So, you have to be able to do those things. Is that any different than when we play Indiana State next week? Probably not. These games, you have to get to the fourth quarter to have a chance. I was fortunate enough to be involved in when we beat Kentucky, when I was at Western Kentucky, and that's what you had to do. You have to get to the fourth quarter to win these games, and then the pressure goes to them. We never got it to the fourth quarter,
All right, thanks, Coach. And like we said, once again, a home opener this weekend, 7 o'clock Saturday, Indiana State. It should be a good matchup of 2 FCS teams over there at Roy Kidd Stadium. So we had a chance this week also to go over to Alumni Coliseum and talk to a lot of the folks around the EKU basketball program, because there's really something really cool going on over there right now, because the Nichols State men's basketball team was forced off of campus down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, because of Hurricane Ida, and they called up an old friend looking for some help, that being EKU Athletic Director Matt Rohn, and he was very hospitable and offered to let the Nichols State men's basketball team relocate here to Richmond. So they are here right now. They'll be here for a couple of weeks until they can get things kind of back together. There's no power down there, and nothing. They took off as soon as the hurricane came through, and so they got here last week, and we had a chance to talk to Nicholls State coach Austin Clonch about the relocation to Richmond.
So we got here on Sunday. Almost the whole team got here Sunday evening, Sunday night. We had a couple guys come in Monday morning. Really a fast turnaround. We were able to put this all together. I reached out to, of course, athletic director here, Matt Rohn, who I have a previous relationship from at Nicholls, on Wednesday, and he was so receptive to the idea, and went through some different avenues to talk to people around campus, of course, the president, and we were able to turn around and get it done pretty quickly. You guys were so willing and really anxious to help us, and that was exciting for us, and we're just so grateful and thankful to be here in Richmond. So we've been here now about 3 or 4 days and starting to get a little bit better lay of the land and enjoying these great facilities and hospitality.
I saw some of the drone footage that was posted on Facebook of just the damage that Ida left behind. How's everyone doing there? I'm sure the players have family members there.
Yeah, first and foremost, most importantly, everyone's safe and doing well. Obviously there was some damage. A lot of our guys are local, not necessarily from Thibodaux or Houma, but Louisiana, New Orleans, Slidell, so there was certainly some damage to family members' houses, some of our players' housing, but nothing too severe. It's nothing that we can't overcome. There's it's part of living in Louisiana, hurricane season and rain and things like that. We've been really fortunate in Thibodaux, since my time there, to not necessarily have to deal with something like this, and this is one that just happened to kind of hit us head on, but we'll take it in stride, and the most important thing is like you mentioned, our family members and players' family members are safe and healthy, and so the houses and all that, we can always rebuild, and we will, and we'll come back stronger.
Thanks, Coach. Well, the Nicholls State Colonels will be on campus here in Richmond for a couple of weeks until they can go back, maybe 3 to 4 weeks before they can get back. But also got a chance to talk to EKU coach A.W. Hamilton, who talked about what message this sends to his team and about not only about sports, but just being a better person and what it means to give back.
We're here at Alumni Coliseum with EKU coach A.W. Hamilton. And, Coach, you have some special visitors on campus this week. Why don't you tell us about Nicholls State coming up here to ride out the hurricane recovery?
And, Nathan, we talk a lot about this in our program. It's not what you get, it's what you give. And I give a lot of credit to our president, Matt Rohn, our athletic director, our administration, for what they're doing for Nicholls State. They've been through a lot, and those players, Nathan, they deserve a chance to get ready for their season and be in a place that's safe and everything that they're going through. So, look, we had an opportunity to help them, and I'm really proud of what we're doing. And I think this is a good learning lesson for our players here because, again, it's not always what you get, it's what you give in life. And we have an opportunity to help out, and we're doing that. And, again, I'm really proud of our university. Our leadership is incredible here. And what we're doing is again, a great lesson for our young men. So we're excited to have them here. It's, I had a chance to meet with their coach, Austin. He's a tremendous guy and a young guy and fired up about his team. And so I'm excited that they can be here preparing for their season.
Okay, like so you didn't know Coach Clonch before this, so you got to know him a little bit now?
Yeah, and it's funny because with all the ties that we have with Nicholls State here, I watched their games and I cheered for them last year as they made their run in their Southland tournament. So it was kind of cool to sit down with them and talk to them and get to know them a little bit. And we'll have the opportunity to do that while they're here, sit down and talk about some basketball. It's always fun to get other people's perspectives on the game and their philosophies and how they play, and they dive into how we play. So we're going to use this time to help each other, and it'll be a lot of fun.
It's always interesting how the coaching connections are. I mean, so I'm sure there must be some kind of a connection between the two of you when you guys sit down and talk, and there must have been somebody you knew who knew somebody from somewhere, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's the coaching world. It's just a big fraternity. So, but again, I like the way they play. They press a little bit and get after it. So it's kind of fun to sit down and say, what's your philosophy on this, and how do you trap in this, and what are your pressing schemes? So it'll be a lot of fun to sit around and talk some basketball with them.
All right.
thanks Coach Hamilton, and obviously very important lesson for his players, and to give back to the community and give back to others. And that's why we love Coach Hamilton. He's a great guy. All right, lots of other stuff to get to. We're going to go to high school boys soccer to start off with, and we still have one undefeated team left in the county. Of course, that's the Madison Central boys, and they played host to the Tribe Shootout this week here in Richmond. Rolled through the first two games, beat both Great Crossing and Estill County 8-0, but they got a real challenge on Saturday against Corbin in the championship game. It was a 2-2 game after regulation headed into penalty shootouts, and it was the Indians picking up a 5-4 win to claim the championship. They hit all 5 of their penalty kicks in the shootout. Gavin O'Shea with his 26th goal of the season, and Ethan Weiss also had a goal, and it was Nolan Yance picking up the win in net. They are now 12-0-1 on the season. Be back in action Tuesday at George Rogers Clark. The Madison Southern boys soccer team opened up the week with a 3-1 loss at home to Frankfort, and then picked up a 1-1 tie on Saturday on the road against Pulaski County. Rue Limmer had the goal in that game, and the Eagles had a 1-0 lead until 30 seconds left when Pulaski County got the tying goal. So they'll be back in action Tuesday at Montgomery County. The Model Patriots snapped a 5-match winless streak with a 1-0 win over Somerset Christian on Saturday. It was freshman Cole Arnold with the goal and Ashton Steelman with the shutout in the net. And they'll be back in action Monday at Tates Creek. And the Berea Community boys suffered 2 losses last week to fall to 2-6-1 on the season. They lost 4-0 to Bluegrass United on Tuesday, and then lost 5-1 to Garrett County on Thursday. In that game, it was Chaden Lovins with the goal. They'll be back in action Thursday at home against Whitley County. Tough week for the local girls soccer teams, unfortunately. Only one win among the 4 schools, and that came from the Model Lady Patriots. They picked up a 5-0 win on Wednesday at home over Powell County. It was Peyton Sparks, Keaton Hall, Rebecca Otieno, Julia Luxon, and Brenna Long with the goals. And then on Friday they suffered a 4-0 loss on the road at Louisville Collegiate. They're now 4-4 on the season. Be back in action Wednesday at home, big district showdown with Madison Central. Madison Southern Lady Eagles began the week with undefeated 8-0 record, but they've had some injury issues and some health and safety protocol issues, and they suffered a pair of shutout losses last week on the road. Lost 3-0 to Somerset on Tuesday and 2-0 to Great Crossing on Thursday up in Georgetown. They'll be back in action Monday at LCA. Madison Central girls have also had some health and safety protocol issues as well. Had to cancel a game on Wednesday, but they did get to play Saturday night for a senior night at home over at Bellevue and lost 2-0 to Clark County, and they're now 6-3-1 on the season. They'll be back in action Monday at Sayre. And the Berea Community Lady Pirates, they fell to 3-5 on the season with a 4-3 loss to Garrett County earlier this week, and it was Maddie King with 3 goals, and they'll be back in action Monday at Lincoln County. Turning to golf news, and the Madison Central boys and girls programs just continue to rack up tournament titles. We'll start off with the boys earning their 7th championship of the season. They took first place on Saturday at the Danny Spillman Bowling Green Invitational, which is played at the course there in Bowling Green at the Bowling Green Country Club, where the state championship is held every year. Shot a plus 14 302, tied with Christian Academy of Louisville for first place, but ended up winning on a scorecard matchup. It was Warren Thomas with an even par 72, tied for 4th. Gavin McCune with a plus 476, tied for 11th. And Clay Pendergrass and Hayden Wash plus 577, tied for 14th. The Lady Indians rolled to the title at the Henry Clay Invitational Saturday at Lakeside up in Lexington. Ended up with a plus 23 311. Beat out Lexington Catholic by 27 strokes for the title. Lydia Harrell and Clara Beth Ramsey plus 476, tied for 4th. Abby Buchanan plus 779 and tied for 6th. And Elizabeth Eberly with a plus 880 and tied for 8th. And in that tournament, Central's girls B team finished 4th and actually had some really impressive scores in the 80s there too. So that team is just loaded with talent up and down the roster. Also on Saturday, Models Leslie Durr competed in the All-A State Championships over at the University Club at Arlington. She shot a 92 and finished 32nd out of 85 competitors. So lots of good golf here in Madison County. Moving on to high school volleyball. Madison Southern had 3 straight wins to finish up the week to move to 8-2 on the season. They beat Estill County 3-0 on Thursday, beat Bull County 2-0 and Mercer County 2-1 on Saturday. In the Mercer County win, it was Kayla Atkins with 16 assists, 15 kills, 14 digs, and they'll be back in action Tuesday at Lincoln County. Madison Central lost a pair of matches on the road last week. They fell to Lexington Catholic 3-0, and on Thursday suffered a real tough 3-2 5-set epic loss up at Scott County. They'll be back in action Tuesday versus LCA at home. And Berea Community Lady Pirate volleyball team picked up a 3-0 win over Model earlier in the week, and then lost to Nicholas County, but then went to the All-A Classic and beat Frankfort before losing to LCA. And they'll be back in action this week, Monday at Estill County. And in cross-country news, and we say this every week, and it's like a running joke, but it's the truth, Madison Central's Brady Masters and Kiara O'Shea sweep the titles at the Rumble in the Jungle up in Goshen. We say that jokingly because they are the two top-ranked cross-country runners in the state. They have both won all 4 events they've competed in this year. Kiara won again by almost a minute, so it's amazing. They just keep getting better and better and better. And like I said, we just keep saying the same thing every week, but that's a good thing because they keep winning every week. So congratulations to Brady and Kiara. So that's all we got for you. That's a lot of stuff to go through, folks. We have a lot of good stuff going on in Madison County. We have a lot of great athletes in this area, and it's my pleasure to be able to stand up here and talk about them every week. So, and we appreciate everybody who sends in scores and stats and photos and all kinds of good stuff. I couldn't do this without lots of help from lots of people. So appreciate all of that. So now that we're through all that, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with Kevin Kim from Berea College.
Do you want to sponsor the weekly Richmond Register Sports Show? Contact the Richmond Register, richmondregister.com, and of course on Facebook or Twitter. Get the Richmond Register directly to your mailbox or get the app online and visit richmondregister.com. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms.
All right, welcome back. We are here with Kevin Kim, who you are a man of many titles at Berea College down there, aren't you? You are the Assistant Director of Athletics, you're the Coordinator of External Operations, and Assistant Men's Golf Coach, and the Recruiting Coordinator. You must have a big business card.
I do. The voicemail tag on my office phone is pretty long, but yeah, love doing my job there.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming by. We're kind of going to get an update on Berea College athletics. Obviously, last year, like most every other NCAA institution, it was a difficult year. You guys did get some sports in. The spring sports were mostly canceled, but you guys are back to pretty much normal this year, right? I mean, you guys, so far, I know you have some health and safety protocols in place like that, but as far as all 16 varsity sports, are you guys back up and running full strength?
Yeah, we're up full strength. It kind of hit us hard right there. I think we had 4 or 5 sports going on in the spring, and then we hit the fall running with a volleyball tournament, a soccer tournament, and the cross-country meet on the same weekend. And I'll tell you this much, it was long hours, but we loved it. I think everybody in the athletics department was excited for fans to be back, for all our student athletes to be back competing at home. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, you guys are NCAA Division III.
Yep.
You guys moved up there from NAIA in 2017. You guys compete in the USA South Conference, which is a conference I didn't know much about when you guys joined it.
Yeah.
Mostly teams south of here in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, that area, and really nobody close to us. But it's a very competitive conference in most sports.
Yeah. The USA South they're the big conference, especially for spring sports, baseball, golf, softball. We're always up there in the national talk, national rankings, especially for golf. I know this because I'm an assistant golf coach there. I think for the past 3-4 years, we've had 5 in the top 25 and 3 in the top 10, so it's a pretty competitive conference. Basketball, we always have a good representation from the USA South. And same goes for the fall sports.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Berea College does offer 16 varsity sports. You guys got baseball, softball, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's cross country, men's golf, men's and women's track and field, men's and women's soccer, and men's and women's tennis. So you guys have a lot of athletes. And looking at your website, you guys have athletes from 23 different states. So people all across the country come to Berea College to play athletics. So it's kind of that's obviously really cool.
Yeah, especially all the coaches that's come in the past 5-6 years. They've really understood the mission of Berea, and they're trying to spread it outside of just the Appalachian region. They're getting kids from Texas. That's been a big hotbed for us. Out on the West Coast, Puerto Rico. If you go through our rosters, it's all over the country, and I love it. It's a big melting pot in a small little town in Kentucky, and hopefully we can keep growing from there.
International students, don't you? Have some kids from like the Congo and stuff?
Yeah, we have on our soccer team, we have a couple of kids from the Congo. I think even on the women's soccer team, they're all over the place. And so, whatever we can give to them, hopefully they can show it on the field for us. Yeah, well,
obviously you mentioned the mission statement of Berea College. And Berea College is a very unique and a very special place. Obviously, no athletic scholarships there. Kids are not charged tuition. Even just the general students are not charged tuition. You do have a work component where they do have to have a work assignment as well. So, it's kind of a one-of-a-kind place, and it creates for a unique environment down there.
It does. The work people get kind of confused on the whole work aspect, but we kind of see it as a career development. It's really nice to get to graduate from Berea and have that 4 years of working for a department. That's how I ended up in my gig. I was blessed enough to work for the athletics department while I was a student athlete there, and I was able to be hired on, and here I am. So.
Yeah, you're the perfect example. That's why I'm glad we had you on, because you came from Duluth, Georgia, and came up here as a golfer. And how did you find Berea College from Duluth, Georgia?
A lot of phone calls. They contacted me, and at first I remember thinking, man, I don't really want to go to Kentucky. Don't know much about the state. I've always kind of thought, I kind of want to stay in the South to play golf, stay in the warmer weather. And, the coaches, the way they spoke about it, the athletic administration, how they talked to me in my visit, I was just kind of blown away, and I fell in love with this place, and I knew that this was home for me. So I came up, had a nice little career as a golfer, was able to graduate from a college with a degree that really had some oomph on it in the back end.
So he's being modest. He won seven tournament titles. You were two-time All-American, and you won a national championship. So you're being a little modest. You're a pretty good golfer. You still knock it around a little bit, or?
Yeah, we were blessed enough to move our home course up to Boone's Chase National this year. So I've been up there, getting along with the Rutherfords. Don't know if any. They're well known. They've done a great job with the golf course, renovated it really well. And I've been playing in men's leagues and little club tournaments up there, and still haven't won one, but I'm getting there.
Okay. Well, another fascinating thing about Berea College is we've had a ton of local kids go over there. We have currently, I know the spring sports rosters haven't been updated yet, but the current rosters, we have kids from all 4 Madison County schools are there. So it's really cool that a lot of kids like to stay home, and we've had a lot of kids have a lot of success there. Brianna Lanham played basketball. Was I think a 2,000-point scorer. Bailey Vanover, who we're going to talk about in a minute, is a great soccer and basketball player. So, but there's a great connection there locally between the Berea College and some of the all 4 local schools.
Yeah, we talked about how we had 23 we had representations of 23 states at Berea College, but at the heart of what we do, our mission is to make the region around us better, try to get the kids from our region, and really kind of drive, social mobility, kind of move, give them college degrees, get them to that next step of their lives. And so what's a better place to recruit than our own backyard, Madison Southern, Central, Model, Berea Community, they all have good athletic programs that we feel like have kids that don't get looked at just because they're not in a big city. And so if we can dip into that talent pool and make our talent pool even that much stronger, then all for the better.
Yeah, when going through the rosters last night, I was looking. I mean, lots of Lexington kids as well,
Yep.
and you also have all kinds of kids from Estill County, Garrett County,
Yep.
London, all across the area. So you guys definitely put an emphasis on the local kids in the region.
Yep. There's plenty of good talent here in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just going through here. I mean, you look at men's soccer. You got Zach Long from Model. Women's soccer. You got Bailey Vanover and Jakari McKeithen from Madison Central. Michelle Meacham from Berea Community. A whole bunch more. Tariq Miller, Madison Central on the men's basketball team. Mike Meacham, men's tennis from Berea Community, and then the women's team was full of local people last year with Savannah Fallis and Brianna Lanham from Southern and Adriana Beggs from Berea Community and Marley Lawson also. So lots of local connections there as well. So kind of tell me about what's going on now. I guess you've got volleyball, men's soccer, women's soccer, and cross country going on right now. Anything else? Or those are the ones that are?
Men's and women's tennis will be starting up late September, 25th, I believe, and men's golf team's been traveling around playing golf. So.
Okay. All right, because you got so the next home matches for the women and men's soccer will be Wednesday against UC Claremont for the women and Hanover for the men. And then I guess the volleyball team's next home match is September 28th against Maryville College. That's right. Wrote all this stuff down on it, So, all right, what you got? Let's talk a little bit about Bailey Vanover. Hopefully, we'll get her on the show here in a couple of weeks. But she is approaching the all-time goals record for your all's women's soccer team. So, and she's also a great basketball player too. So, she's been a good get for you guys, a local kid from Richmond here, and she's a firecracker out there, and she's fun to watch.
And, I don't think she gets enough credit for what she does off the field as well. She's an excellent student athlete. She's a leader for us in the classroom. She's on the SAC committee. She does a lot of things for us in athletics. But, we've had a lot of multi-sport athletes, but I don't think I've been around one that's been as successful as Bailey on both sides. Women's soccer-wise, she's pretty much the heart of that offense. That offense goes through Bailey Vanover. And then in basketball, she's our main ball handler. We have Aaliyah Hampton, who was freshman of the year in the NCAA. But Bailey does a lot to give her space to open up the driving lanes for her and kind of spread the ball around for the court. And I know Coach Milby sees her as, an integral part of that team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that team did not get a chance to play last year. They did as a team. They got together and decided not to play, which was, considering the circumstances, was completely understandable. It was a team decision. But obviously, we hope that they get a chance to. Everything should be fine and get back on there this year. And I know Coach Milby, I'm sure, is chomping at the bit to get those girls back together because they had such a great year in 2020, right before the pandemic. They were in the NCAA Division III National Championship up in Michigan. They'd won the USA South tournament, so it had to be disappointing. But ultimately, it's you don't want to make anybody do anything health and safety wise that they don't want to do.
No,
so.
And I will say this much: to start out this year, you could tell that they kind of have a chip on their shoulders. They feel like they've kind of been overlooked since they missed out on a year. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do on the court. They got a couple of really good freshmen that Coach Milby was able to add on, especially during the pandemic period where it was really hard to go watch and recruit kids. I think he's done a good job of bringing in good new talent. And I will say watch out for the basketball season this year for Berea College.
Yeah. I think ever since they came into that league, you've been in the championship game of the tournament every year. So.
Yeah. The women's basketball team I think has won the regular season every year too for the West Division. If not, they've been a couple years with Piedmont, their main rival.
Yeah.
But I think last year or 2 years ago was our first year that we were able to host the USA South Championship, and they made that home court advantage count and was able to go up to Michigan.
Yeah. Like I said, in the spring sports, hopefully we'll be back this year. And we haven't had baseball down there in 2 years for some various other reasons. But so hopefully everything in the spring will be back to normal.
Coach Lewis has done a fantastic job. I think he had a recruiting class of about 45 student athletes. On top of that, the 4 or 5 returners we had. And our roster is deep. They're loaded with talent. He was able to kind of find a pocket of kids down in the south towards southern Florida and the Puerto Rico region. on top of that, a lot of kids from, Central Kentucky and E-Town, Louisville. It's going to be exciting to watch, I think, to kind of see that program be brought back alive again.
Yeah. Well, tell everybody, you guys, obviously you've been on the forefront of the social media and all this type of stuff, so you guys pretty much live stream everything now, so tell us how you can watch stuff down there.
BereaAthletics.com, everything on there. You just go to the schedule, and we'll have live stream links available for every game, every home game that's possible as the away games. If you guys want to go one step further, we have Berea Athletics on YouTube, and you can follow, subscribe, and every time we got a live stream going on, you'll get a notification on your phone.
Cool.
You can follow us.
Yeah, all right, that makes it great. Like I said, lots of local kids you can keep track of down there as well, and of course you guys are on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff too. You want to plug all that stuff?
Yeah, Berea_athletics for Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and then we have our individual team accounts that you can follow as well. That is available on BereaAthletics.com. All their handles are there, and if you follow the individual team accounts, you get to see a lot more in-depth stuff. They'll do takeovers for student athletes where you can see what they do in a given day, what they do before a game. I like watching it. Kind of like to put myself in the shoes of the student athletes again. Kind of feel like I'm a student athlete.
Yeah.
Just trying to live my glory days.
Well, there was one of the women's soccer team where they're all like in a kiddie pool together or something. I saw that last night. I was like, what is that all about?
They do a lot of team bonding stuff. It's really cool, especially if you have an athlete that's still in high school, kind of want to see what it's like to be a college athlete in the Division III level. I think our teams, I think our coaches do a wonderful job of trying to show that to their recruits or potential recruits. So, yeah, it's worth a follow.
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, sure. And come on out and support them. I mean, what is the admission? It's a couple bucks or
$0.
No admission. Okay.
No admission. So it's free to come. It's a good time it's a good way to, watch some good athletics. It's a good way to spend some time with your family. Just mask up.
Yeah, and the men's soccer it's like an event down there. I mean, it's like a European event with chanting and stuff, and it's crazy.
Both soccer games. If you want a good soccer atmosphere, I think we at Berea College have created one. And you want to bang on some trash cans, make some noise, you're more than welcome to come down. Have fun.
Yeah, all right. Well, we appreciate you coming by, and we always appreciate your hospitality. I know we don't get down there as often as we'd like to with 4 high schools and EKU and everything else, but whenever we're there, you're always so nice to us, and we very much appreciate that. And you guys do a great job keeping up the social media and everything, too, so when we can't be there, the scores and stats are available, and we try to share that with everybody as well. So I always appreciate your hospitality when we come down there. And thanks for coming in. We appreciate you coming by.
Anytime.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. We'll be back next week with another edition. Of course, you can check out our social media sites, Richmond R Sports on Twitter, Register Sports on Facebook, and RichmondRegister.com. Have a great week.
Do you want to sponsor the weekly Richmond Register Sports Show? Contact the Richmond Register, RichmondRegister.com, and of course on Facebook or Twitter. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Central Kentucky Pressure Washing, Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. And by KYmedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Thanks for watching the Richmond Register Sports Show. For more information about all things sports in Madison County, log on to richmondregister.com or on Twitter. And like us, Register Sports on Facebook. Get the Richmond Register directly to your mailbox or get the app online and visit richmondregister.com.